Hello everybody and welcome back to another video sum up of summer books. Today we are gonna walk through the pages of a selection from Dubliners, a stripped down version of the famous novel collection from James Joyce. So, the first story is entitled Araby. Araby's story is about a boy who lives in Dublin. He usually plays with his friends on dirty, cold roads. One of them has an older sister who uses to call him when he has to come home. One day, our main character realizes he's in love with her. He has never spoken to the girl, but all of a sudden, she asks him if he could go to a near bazaar, exactly Araby, because she cannot, as she has to go on a retreat with the nuns. Of course, he joyfully accepts and promises he will bring her a gift. But the evening he had planned to go, his uncle is late from work and he, needs some money. At last he arrives, half drunk, but eventually he borrows him the money. When the boy arrives at the bazaar, it's empty and almost closed, with many lights shut down. He briefly enters a porcelain shop, but decides to buy nothing. At the end of the evening he feels hollow and driven by empty dreams, as the darkness of the closing bazaar surrounds him. Damn, this is sad. The second story is called Evelyn. Evelyn is about a young woman who lives in Dublin with her father, but he treats her a bit rudely and he's often drunk. She has a job, but also her employee treats her badly. What a lucky girl. Her mother died and told her to not live a sad life like she had. One of his brothers died too, and the other lived far away. She's unhappy with her life, but she's too shy to accept to live with a mariner she has met, offering her to flee and live together in Argentina. Oh, finally some good news, some hope. Eventually she decides to live with him, even if her father wouldn't agree, if he knew, of course. At the harbor, at the moment of boarding, when everything was already set and prepared, she can't go on. She grips to an iron railing, refusing to go on board. Even if we don't understand what the hell is going on, and neither does the mariner, he tries to comfort and encourage her, but she gazes back at him with lifeless and emotionless eyes. He lost her. Poor mariner! However. Third story here entitled The Boarding House. The boarding house talks about a woman who runs, a boarding house, so she basically rents rooms to guests who are always men. She departed from her husband, a butcher, because he was always drunk and ruined his business. She has two sons, a boy and a girl. The young man is known to be often laid out at night drinking, but he's okay outside his fistfights. The girl is in her 90s, young and beautiful. She tried to have a job, but her father searched for her, so her mother kept her doing the household. The young lady often has brief relationships with the guests, but with one she starts a deeper love story. Her mother does nothing against that, but she wants them to be married if the story is serious. In fact, one night the girl comes to the guest room and, we can guess what followed. After she confesses everything to her mother, she wants to speak with the guest, to have them married, and he can do nothing about it because he must save appearances, as he's trapped in this kind of social duty. The first story is A Little Cloud. A Little Cloud talks about two friends, Little Chandler and Gallagher, who departed 8 years before. Gallagher has become a successful journalist in England, and Little Chandler got married in Dublin, but has a bit of a boring life, often dreaming about his poetry passion. The two have set an appointment in a prestigious bar. When they meet, they talk about their own lives. Gallagher is a world traveler, disillusioned, free, a man who did and will live a life for pleasure and money, and is happy with it. When Little Chandler returns home, he asks himself why he married his wife. She is pretty, but thinking about it, she is boring. Their life is boring. His life is boring. He has their little child sleeping in his arms, who suddenly wakes up and begins to cry. So random. His wife returns home and angrily takes the baby from him. He retreats from the scene, crying out of remorse and hopelessness. Fifth story, A Mother. A Mother is about, you guessed it, a mother of a young pianist who accepts to let her daughter play in a series of 4 concerts as accompanist. Everything is set, but the first concert is lacking audience a bit. The second concert has more audience, but they talk during the performance, so the third concert is cancelled. Now, problems begin to arise as the pianist's mother pretends to be paid for 4 concerts, even though only 3 would be made. And again, before the beginning of the last concert, the mother pretends that they paid her daughter as she fears they wouldn't. After a bit of chaos, they give her mother half of the pay, so the pianist gets on stage and plays the first part of the concert to avoid further delays. She doesn't agree with their mother, but she's too shy to go against her. Before the second part, the mother insists on getting the other half of the pay, but they answer her that the committee would pay them next week. She refuses to accept it and doesn't allow her daughter to play. Unfortunately, it's no big deal as another singer can play the piano instead of her daughter, so they leave as they heard the first note of the play. I mean, they got at least half of the pay, right? Last story is The Dead. The Dead talks about a large family and the stories of many characters within it. The hosts are 2 old aunts who in their youth were a singer and a pianist, and they were very good. They are making the Christmas dinner and dance party and inviting a lot of friends and relatives. Their nephew, Gabriel, and his wife are the main character of the story. During a dance, Gabriel meets Miss Ivors, a nationalist Irish girl, and after a while she accuses him of being a West Briton, so an Irish who regards himself as a British. Not too much of an issue, but it's embarrassing as it's not exactly a compliment. In the second part of the story, Gabriel has to do a speech before dinner. Miss Ivors leaves and they all sit at the dining table. Gabriel does his speech a bit nervously, praising the 2 aunts and their niece's hospitality and music talent. Everyone claps in agreement and the dinner begins. After the dinner, 2 uncles leave, while there's a duet singing and playing the piano. Gabriel finds his wife listening to the Irish melody on the staircase in the darkness. In the third and last part, Gabriel and his wife leave the aunt's house. It has snowed heavily during the evening. When he looks at her, he suddenly feels joyful and loving, remembering their life together. They reach their hotel room, and when they are inside, he notices that she's acting strangely. She's absent, distant. When he asks her what's wrong, she answers in an outburst of tears that she's thinking about the Irish song. He gently asks her what makes her cry about that song, and she starts to talk about a boy during her childhood and very youth who was in love with her and who she liked. She continues saying that he was ill, and when she moved from the countryside to Dublin, he died at 17. Then, sobbing, she falls asleep. He remains astonished. Basically, he lost the competition with the boy even before the start. He asks himself how it could be the ultimate sacrifice of dying for her. He feels empty and starts thinking about the time when also his aunts will die and about the fragile existence we all live, silently crying and looking outside, where it began to snow again all over Ireland and also on the grave of the poor young boy. So we have reached the end of this video and whoa, that was deep. We can really see how Joyce talks about the chances his people lose in Evelyn, in a mother and in Little Cloud. We can see also what he thinks about society very clearly in the boarding house because of the nearly forced marriage. All of this, of course, is enriched with drama and sadness like in The Dead and in Araby. That's all for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see the next time you stop by.